Welcome to Surviving the Side Hustle, the podcast for high performers who've gone all in, but still feeling a little stuck. I'm your host, Rob Tracy, coach, speaker, and creator of the Prime Performance Process. If you're a solopreneur, small business owner, or just launched your side hustle and you're tired of grinding with no momentum, this is for you. Every week, we bring you guests that have broke the code, generated momentum, and finally got unstuck. And we're diving into their stories, their struggles, and their secrets to generating massive momentum in both their personal and professional lives. We don't do fluff here. We do frameworks, real talk, and share the kind of insights that get you unstuck for good. Welcome, and let's get rolling. But before we dive in, I gotta remind you, if you're overwhelmed, spinning your wheels, or just tired of hustling without the results, it's time for a Prime Performance Strategy session. In this free call, we'll zoom out on your life and business, identify the real reason you're feeling stuck, and build a game plan to help you reclaim your confidence, energy, and gain some clarity so you can get back to doing what you set out to do. Lead, grow, and thrive. This isn't surface level coaching. It's a system built on resilience, intentionality, clarity, and alignment. So head over to survivingthesidehustle.com/free call to grab your spot today. Again, that's survivingthesidehustle.com/free call. Let's get going and help you look good, feel good, and do great things. What's up, and welcome back to another Friday recap episode of Surviving the Side Hustle. So I want to kick it off by asking you, what if the version of success you've been chasing your entire life was never actually yours? See, what if the trophies, the degrees, the titles, and the praise, and the very things that you were told would make you feel fulfilled were actually the things that were slowly draining you? See, that's the question at the heart of this week's conversation that I had with Caroline Sangel, who is the founder of Next Success Careers. And if you're someone who's driven, capable, accomplished, yet quietly exhausted, disconnected, and questioning, is this really it? Then this week's episode is for you. And I highly encourage you go back, re-listen to it, because she's incredible at storytelling. She has a crazy, incredible story itself, and she delivers it with such grace and a powerful way of doing it too. So Caroline, again, she is like literally the definition of high achievement. She tied, I guess, for high school valedictorian. So if you want to hear more about that, check out the full episode. But she also has a PhD in polymer science. She was a fellowship recipient and the only one in North America who had gotten that one particular fellowship. She's an elite performer in both science and recruiting, top 2% pace setter in a global recruiting firm. So on paper, she checked every box, but behind all the accolades was a story many high performers can relate to and recognize it. It's like literally a life built on external validation, relentless pressure, and unspoken belief. I'm only, with the quote, I'm only worthy if I achieve ... end quote. And that belief is what really came at a cost that a lot of us can kind of relate to. So in our conversation, one of the most powerful parts, I should say, was where her story begins. It began really early, like growing up with a father who was a teacher, then became a principal, and then eventually the superintendent. Education, advancement, and achievement were the language of love for her and her family. So when young Caroline saw the valedictorian board on her high school tour, something had clicked to her. She said to herself, it's like, hey, that's going to be me. I'm going to get that part. Not because she fully understood what it meant, but because it symbolized performance, recognition, and worth. So from that moment on, she became exceptional at hitting targets. If an A was required, she got that A. If extra credit existed, she also did that too. If the bar moved higher, she just followed right along. And this pattern followed her everywhere. Her early career path was logical, respectable, and well applauded. Like women in STEM, chemical engineering, advanced chemistry, polymers, PhD level research. She could do the work and she did it very well. But there was friction to this. In our conversation, she described sitting in the classrooms where others were excited about doing the work, but she was feeling physically ill, disconnected, and misaligned. Yet she continued to stay, though. Because when your identity is built on being the achiever, walking away feels like failure, even when something isn't right. One of her most powerful insights in the episode was you tend to hear these little whispers and they start to creep up a little bit more frequently. And then those few whispers turn into more whispers. And then eventually you get sat down hard. And if you haven't been listening, those will really show you what's going on. Those whispers become a little bit stronger. So for her, those whispers showed up early on. It was telling her like, hey, switching from engineering to chemistry. It was also saying, like, pointing out that she was feeling disconnected from her work. She was using food, caffeine, and busyness to really self-soothe. And it was helping her at the time, but really she was avoiding physical movement and a lot of this other stuff too. That was unresolved trauma. But like many high performers, she overrode those signals, really ignoring and continued to keep pushing. She kept producing and kept proving that she could until her body really started speaking louder than her mind. Caroline's scientific career was objectively successful, commercializing multi-million-dollar adhesives, developing testing methods used globally, rising fast in these environments where others had decades of tenure. And then the auto industry collapsed. She was laid off, she was pregnant, and suddenly dependent on unemployment. The irony wasn't lost on her. She was saying how it's like she was most likely to succeed in high school. Now, however, she's living off of the government. Yet this wasn't the end. This wasn't the total rock bottom, but this was a transition. She became a stay-at-home mom, found meaning in volunteering, gave herself fully to her family. But even here, another identity formed. She kept telling herself that I don't need money. Not all money is good money. Until reality came calling again. Caroline then moved into the recruiting world. Something finally had clicked in on for her pretty well. She wasn't just filling roles, she was helping people change their lives. And for the first time, her skills, her intellect, her empathy, and energy felt aligned. But alignment without boundaries became over-identification. She chased performance awards, took calls while she was still on vacation, worked through many family moments that she won't get again. And then she found herself yelling at the people she loved most because they were interfering with what she was trying to do with work. And slowly that cost escalated. This is where the story starts to deepen because Caroline's health began to deteriorate. Started battling obesity, multiple blood pressure medications, and episodes of heart rates exceeding 200 beats per minute while resting. She was diagnosed with supraventricular tachycardia. Cardiac ablation surgery was on deck, and then the sentence that changed everything. One of her doctors told her, "You're holding the match. Either you make some serious changes or everything is going to burn down." But still, she decided she was going to continue pushing. She kept pushing until it was her husband's words that really left her resonating with something that needed to change. He told her that, "I'm afraid we're not going to have another anniversary. Not because I'm going to leave, but because I believe that you're killing yourself." And that was the moment. That moment there, Caroline faced the question many of us avoid. Who am I if I'm not what I do? She realized that she's been defined by the things like titles, output, performance, external praise, and everything she wanted, like joy, health, and presence, was on the other side of discomfort. So this time she chose herself. Not impulsively, but strategically. She waited for commissions to land. She planned, she built skills, she put herself in uncomfortable growth situations on purpose. And eventually, she left. Caroline didn't just pivot. She studied the problem like a scientist that she was. Why are so many people externally successful but internally unfulfilled? Why do only 20% of people reach their potential? And why does achievement often come with burnout? She treated this like a dissertation and created the Next Success method, which is a framework built on data-backed assessments, career alignment, mental fitness and resilience, identity clarification, value-based decision-making, and the results weren't just theoretical. After 8 weeks of mental fitness work, her blood pressure dropped 20 points, and it actually stayed there too. Caroline works with people who are questioning their careers, which she says happens about every 7 to 10 years. High achievers that are considering pivots, professionals waiting or wanting that alignment, but burning everything down in the process and struggling to find it. She also works with organizations looking to unlock potential, especially for their individuals. And she also works with individuals navigating job searches, but she does it with this intention. Her work isn't about just like quitting impulsively and then finding this new miracle. It's about choosing consciously, which is a great reminder because that's what a lot of what we talk about around here in surviving the side hustle and what I talk about with prime performance coaching. Share oftentimes that achievement without alignment drains you so much faster than anything else, right? Because speed without direction ends up becoming a distraction. Your body keeps these receipts that your mind tends to ignore. And questioning your career is not failure. It's development. It's growth. And that is a sign that you're kind of growing into a bigger or better version of yourself, you can say. And you don't need to earn the rest, joy, or worth. And maybe what's most importantly that we kind of learned was that you're never broken. Most of the time, we're just a little misaligned. And when I asked Caroline what kind of world we'd live in if people actually design success aligned with who they are, her answer was simple and powerful. She said, an inspired world, a healthier world, a more creative world, and a more connected world. And again, that's really what this podcast is really all about, bringing more people together, creating more healthier, inspiring, and hopefully educating as well. So I highly encourage you to go back to check out this full episode with Caroline. And I definitely want you to go over to check out nextsuccesscareers.com, where you can find out more information about her, the things that she's got working on. You can follow her on LinkedIn as well. But most importantly, don't forget to go check out her podcast as well. It's called Your Next Success. So if today's episode resonated with you, then keep this as your reminder. You don't need to wait for the breakdown to happen, and you don't have to earn permission to change either. You don't have to keep chasing a version of success that costs you everything. All you got to do really is just reflect honestly, choose intentionally, and as always, keep surviving that side hustle. Until next time, guys, peace, peace, peace. And that's it for this episode of Surviving the Side Hustle. If you found this valuable, the best way to support the show is to rate and review on Apple or Spotify. It helps get the show in front of more driven individuals just like you, and helps them discover the tools to get unstuck, break through burnout, and build something real. And you can always connect deeper with me, our guests, or grab free resources at survivingthesidehustle.com/Rob. Whether it's a strategy call, the Prime Performance Personality Quiz, some of our products, or just to check out our free content library. Connect with us over at survivingthesidehustle.com/Rob. And hey, remember this, you weren't meant to just grind. You were built to grow. So stay conscious, stay committed, and keep showing up. Peace, guys.